Okay, y'all. All right, y'all. So here's the rundown.
This is the young version of Trump.
This guy that tall, the skinny guy.
How you say his name? Dadgone it. If we even have a
Ramaswamy.
How we gonna call? We're gonna have to say President V. Seriously, President B.
This dude is 38 years old. When he said he was born in 1985, I said I graduated.
I college then.
I graduated. He's old enough to be my son.
Oh my God, he was on fire last night.
Okay, so
we didn't know him, we know him now.
First of all, it started off bad.
Why?
The commentary guy, the two people that were sitting at the table.
Yeah,
he said, let's start off with the elephant not in the room.
Well, he didn't start off with that, though.
No, he said that.
Okay.
He said, let's start with the elephant not in the room.
When they were bringing up the questions now of Trump, right. They have already started.
And people was booing. It was already a Trump audience.
He was trying to throw shade.
Yeah. It was a Trump audience.
You can tell.
Trump didn't need to be there.
He did.
Because he had his mega people there. So they did it for him. Mm-hmm. Although I would say if he had been there, it would have been funnier. Because he would have made it even more funny.
It would have been a waste of time, though. Because even with the 8 candidates, they didn't have time to even talk to all of them. Because some of them were very aggressive.
Right.
And blurted out, responding to one another. Where it didn't even give time for others to even have comments.
Well, people kept saying that it was going to be boring without Trump. So they had to put on a show.
And they did.
Yeah, they put on a show. So Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, he said that if he were elected president, he would not support additional aid to Ukraine in the Russian war.
Cut that out.
Mm-hmm. Now, we know that I think most of the Republicans don't agree with that. They agree that we should do support.
We need to stay strong on foreign affairs.
Except for the mega people. I think the mega people feel like we sending too much money over there.
Nikki cleared that up. If her facts are true,
if what Nikki Haley said is true,
yes.
She said that America spent only a small percentage of our defense budget to send over to Ukraine.
Yes.
And she also said that compared to the other countries,
they sent more.
I
didn't know that.
Now, did somebody fact check that?
There was some things that she said that gave clarity to things that we didn't know. And it's really sad because if that is true, then why isn't that something that Biden is
Biden not saying that? He never talks about anything.
We're sending more money to Ukraine, but just so you guys know, other countries are sending more. That's good to know.
Biden is weak. He's a weak man.
We have
he deserved to be vice president, not president. He could never.
I don't know. I don't even know right now. Looking at these candidates, I know my sister and I, we're not for a certain party.
I don't vote for the party. I'm independent.
We're very independent. Like Sarah on The View.
Right.
We vote for who
we like.
When things are going on in our lives, it has to be related to what it touches us.
Right.
And who's doing a better job of getting that fixed or whatever. But go ahead.
Well, anyway, so he says U.S. support of Ukraine is disastrous, he said, and resources going there should instead be used domestically. I've always said that. I've always said we sending too much money to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. I know what Nikki Haley said as far as this is the last frontier for Putin. If he takes this, he'll take Poland and he'll take all this other stuff. The bottom line is he was supposed to already have Ukraine. Ukraine belonged to Russia. And then she said, then you'll turn around and support China taking Taiwan, which it belonged to.
Which would happen,
So the bottom line is, I don't think people would mind so much, Nikki Haley, if people weren't sleeping on the streets and we had a border problem, we had millions of migrants coming over and you having them sleep in the police stations and people don't mind you giving money. It's almost like you giving money to an organization. Why would you give money to an organization and your house is poor? People would say your kids are starving and you giving money to organizations. That's how people would look at it.
As quick as we saw money go to Ukraine, we need to see fast results with our border situation. I think people would be comfortable.
People would be comfortable, but we don't want to see all this going on in our country, and you sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. And in the hopes, here's the thing, when does it end? Because what's the purpose? What y'all doing? Y'all trying to keep Putin from taking Russia, right? So are we going to say this is forever? Because he's going to always try to get Ukraine.
Well, there was pros and cons with that, because there was some GOP debaters that agreed with I'm gonna say what's his name? Ramaswamy. DeSantis pretty much said,
"Oh, he gonna want it. Yeah, he's
actually gonna be forceful. He's gonna be physical.
He said he'll stop it
and hurt the people
Trump. Well, you talking about the border?
I'm saying the border.
Trump said that he will stop money going to Ukraine. Of course.
Well, we know that. That's
his friend is his friend is Putin,
and China's his buddy.
But the bottom line is, the purpose of them saying they don't want a stronger Russia is dumb. You don't want a stronger China. China is your problem, not Russia.
They've all been saying
and I don't understand why they keep focusing on Russia. Russia's not your problem.
One of the guys, what's his name? We don't really know his name. He was like the lower end of the guys running.
The one that was stale, that was talking about
he kept saying China.
It's China, not Russia.
Yep, Anna was saying that on The View. China, keep our eyes on China.
They own most of our country.
They got ties with Russia.
And Africa. They own a lot of Africa.
So foreign affairs, you're going to probably have some mixed views on it and how we're handling it.
Yeah.
But I think the main concern is that our borders are taken care of and not dismiss one to put strength to the other. You can do both.
Yeah.
What Nikki Haley said and Christie and all of them.
You can. But we don't see you.
Don't feel like
we don't see you doing both.
Ramaswamy is saying only our border.
Then they got back and forth, and he basically was trying to overtalk her. She held her own. I thought, in my opinion, she
came
won.
out on top.
I felt like Nikki Haley won the debate. Y'all could comment down below.
Ramaswamy probably did.
Ramaswamy won in knowing who he is.
Yeah.
Most people didn't know who he was.
Right.
That debate lets you know who he is
and how closely associated he is
and how much
Trump.
He's a mega person.
Exactly.
He's pushing to be vice president or on the cabinet. He's not pushing to win. You can tell.
For him to even ask Pence straight out, when you make it if you become president, would you pardon?
Yeah, they asked
Trump?
that.
I would.
Yeah,
I would.
He was the first one to raise his hand.
Really?
So he's a Trumpster.
Yeah, he is.
And we all know why he's there. Yeah. But when he got in his heated exchange with Nikki Haley over Ukraine or whatever, foreign policy, she overtalked him, which I'm glad she did. Mm-hmm. And she said, "You are inexperienced," and it shows. So, but with the same token, Nikki,
Trump
didn't know anything either.
He didn't even know that Puerto Rico is part of the United States.
I mean, obviously, foreign affairs.
We don't even have to go foreign affairs with him. It's in the country he don't even know.
So that's obviously not a selling point for you for the Republican Party.
Yeah,
because Trump is still over 50%.
Exactly.
And he doesn't know foreign affairs.
Right.
And he was president for 4 years and he still don't know foreign affairs.
Thank you.
So we all know that it's a figurehead. Mm-hmm. That's all that the president is, really. Mm-hmm. Which goes to Chris Christie. He was pretty good as far as his whole thing about
his
Trump.
Whole purpose of being on that stage.
And saying to the Republican Party, I'm paraphrasing, when are we going to start it's not whether you believe he's innocent or guilty.
Right.
He doesn't look good.
Right.
And Nikki kind of said the same thing. She said he's not going to be elected in the general public.
How long are we going to keep condoning this behavior as well?
But the point is, Republicans, that's why I'm not Republican, because they're morons. Democrats are morons. All of y'all party people are ridiculous. You are going to put 50% on a man who is not going to win the general election.
They don't care. They think he will.
So your purpose is to push him. You could push any of them other ones, the other ones that's on that stage.
They don't like to.
They will beat Biden.
They don't think about that.
You got to think about us. We're independent voters. I'm an independent voter.
Yeah.
I don't belong to any party. We are the people who are going to decide this presidential race. The Democrats are going to vote for Biden. It doesn't matter what he does. He can trip over a sandbag tomorrow and fall and bust his nose open. They'll vote for him with a busted nose. It doesn't matter. He can have tubes all in him in the hospital.
They even ask about his age.
It doesn't matter.
Was that a concern?
It doesn't matter.
And they all didn't say nothing.
They're not supporting Kennedy. They're not supporting anybody else.
Right.
They're supporting Biden.
But we got to understand too, mega lovers.
Yes.
They don't care.
They don't care.
That they don't see the picture. They don't see the situation that may happen.
Well, that's the Republicans. I was saying the Democrats will support Biden regardless. The Republicans, you're right. It doesn't matter what Trump does. It doesn't matter. He can go in today like he's supposed to and do his mug shot, which everybody's waiting on. They're going to put it on T-shirts and they're going to sell it. And he's going to make a lot of money to help pay for his defense. He doesn't care. They don't care. So because of that, you guys have to start looking at the independents like us. Who are we voting for? I can tell you now, if it's Trump and Biden, I'm not voting for Trump. Anybody else other than probably DeSantis on that stage, I would probably vote for over Biden. I told
my sister out of the 9, who came out stronger to me, where I got to know them a little better, understand their platform, and even like how they answered them, how they answered, was Nikki Haley.
I like Nikki Haley.
I was actually surprised.
I like Nikki Haley. If she was up against Biden, she would win. Hands down. Nikki Haley would win.
Because she won. To me, she was good in the debate.
I liked her answer about abortion.
Yeah.
She said, Republicans, we have to be realistic.
Thank you.
You're not going to get these 6-week or 5-week bans on abortion. You're not going to get no abortion nationally.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
And DeSantis has 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, he's
not budging.
Why don't we she said, let's meet somewhere on the things that we agree. Let's vote on the things we agree on. Right. And then we'll go from there. And she seems more logical.
She made it clear on some things that are being held back because of the Republicans.
Right.
She's made a comment about
they made the interest rate.
You guys can all get in there as the president, but understand we're not strong in the Senate right now.
Yep.
So it don't matter.
Yep.
She was bringing light to things that we've always been wondering.
It matters who's in the Senate and who's in the Congress.
Gosh.
Those are the ones that's deciding what's going to happen.
She made better sense.
That other guy who was
Which one?
On the end next to Chris Christie. He didn't like Trump either.
Right. Chris Christie did not raise their hand to the question of you all sign an agreement. Whoever is Republican Party, whoever wins for the Republican, what is the word?
Nominee.
You said
Hutchinson.
Thanks, Mom.
Will you sign it where you're going to support whoever does win? Christie and Hutchinson did not raise their hand.
During this debate, there was another thing on, which was Trump and what's his name?
Hannity.
Tucker
Carlson
on X, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, X. And Trump only dogged out Christie and Hutchinson. He only dogged out the two people that don't like him.
That's right.
He called Hutchinson a girl name. And Tucker Carlson asked him, why you call him that? And Trump said, I would tell you, but I'll get in trouble. He's a moron. He don't think we can look up and see why you called him a girl name. Apparently, this governor passed a transgender bill in his state that was kind of like pro-transgender, like don't discriminate against them kind of bill.
Exactly.
So I guess Trump is calling him a girl.
But Trump needs to be clear on how he feels about that.
He just told you he called him a girl.
That doesn't come out strong because his mega people don't agree with it.
Right.
So he has to tread lightly as well.
Yeah.
Because not only will he'll just get his mega supporters, he won't get anybody else who is independent on that.
Yeah.
Not very conservative. And even Tim Scott made a little stupid snide remark about male gender, the body you're born in.
Tim Scott said 18 times that he is a single he had a single mom.
Born with
no one cares with your ugly teeth.
Oh.
I have bad teeth, but God darn it. I'm not running for president of the United States.
He got money. He's a senator, right?
Tim Scott is so ugly. If for that, I don't want to vote for you just because you ugly.
And giving honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, he and Pence.
And yes, you can say that is a stupid reason not to vote for somebody. I don't want to vote for him. He's ugly. He's bald-headed. Maybe if he was a cool dude, I wouldn't see the ugliness of him so much.
It was handsome.
But or not even handsome. Look the way he did, but wasn't stale.
Oh, I don't even know.
He's stale. I don't want a stale black man in the office. Sorry.
Now we know Christie got,
and I don't like him making digs at transgender.
Yeah,
what purpose was that?
Well, giving honor to his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but
he wants to always be clear that he is his conservative values as far as his Christian values. He has to be careful with that.
Pence did my Lord and Savior, but he didn't say anything about transgender.
No, he didn't.
That's what I'm saying. What was that dig for?
Use some wisdom, black man.
He was trying to use a tagline. Now that's the one thing that Ramaswamy guy said. Yes. All of you guys come here with your little taglines
and puppets.
You're like puppets. You bought by somebody. Yeah. Who owns you? Who's writing your speech tonight?
He's a Trumpster for sure.
Yeah,
he even talks like it.
That's why people like Trump. They like him because he doesn't sit and think about what somebody told him to say. Is he saying the right thing? Is he going the right way?
Let me answer that.
All of that.
No. He said my name. Let me get back to you.
But
he's in it.
But that's really not true because Trump really plays to his mega people. So he really is playing to his crowd.
Okay.
It's just that people like to think that he's this free willing type of guy. Now, he's just a moron. That's why he says what's on his head.
Thank you.
Because he doesn't have a filter.
He's a businessman like Trump.
Well, this guy is a businessman. It's Ramaswamy.
That's what I just said. Oh, yeah. He's a businessman like Trump.
38 years old.
Now, the one thing I can say about this GOP debate, I'm looking at Pence going, where did you get a backbone?
Yeah, he was all mean then. That night he was talking, boy.
Why didn't you have that first when you was vice president with Trump?
I did the right thing. Let me tell you something. Is there anybody out here gonna dare say I'll come box you? If you think I didn't do the right, he was tough last night. You wasn't tough when they was getting ready to climb the Capitol and chop your head off.
Cutting off Ramaswamy when he talked, and they was back and forth and back and forth at each other. And I'm like, Pence, where did this little energy come from?
Thank you.
That's what we wanted to see, man.
Thank you.
You didn't have it.
What's his name? Her name, Alyssa, who's on The View now. Mm-hmm. She used to work for Pence.
Right.
She was on the show that night, and they asked her, what's with this new Mike Pence?
Yeah.
She said knowing him, she thinks Ramaswamy got under his. He was angry at Ramaswamy.
You should have said, since you was referencing things to the Bible, you could have said, Ramaswamy, you're like a thorn in my flesh. Get thee behind me.
Now, Chris Christie did say, which I think is, I thought it was racist, but he didn't say black.
Okay.
He said the last time we saw a young, tall, skinny guy with a weird name, we saw how that turned out.
Right.
You talking about Obama?
Weird name.
Who you talking about? Obama?
Who he was referencing.
So that's who you talking about. Weird name.
And
that's racist.
And he was saying also,
you big fat Flintstone. That's why I don't like Chris Christie.
You know what?
Even though he's after Trump, I never liked him. He didn't go after Trump until Trump kicked him out of the game. It's like the Little Rascals. What's the fat one? The Spanky. It's like Spanky getting kicked out of the Little Rascals, and now he wants to go after Alfalfa and everybody else.
What does it mean when you stand for a cause and you're trying to be consistent? So if somebody makes a racist comment, like when they were doing with Obama, and you like, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't be saying that, because he does have experience. He may not have been in the Senate for 15 years, whatever. His name is this. He's from America. He's born in America. Quit saying he's foreign or whatever. And they may say some racist things. But when it's in a situation where you like, I don't like him.
Yeah.
And they are racist still, using same references that they did with Obama. Like my sister said, are people okay with it because they don't like Ramaswamy?
He did not have to say a weird name.
Okay.
He could have said the last time we saw a young, tall guy with no experience, we saw what happened there. And we would have known you still was talking about Obama.
He does have a weird name, Ramaswamy.
Yes.
And he could actually reference Ramaswamy.
And why do you think that his name is weird? Because you think it's weird. What's your real name? Some of y'all change y'all names. When y'all come, y'all family changed your name. Thank you.
Trump is not original born with.
Some of y'all are Polish and all this other Stauskowski and all this that are Jewish, and they changed their names. So yes, Fat Boy, Flintstone, but a couple of people up there on that stage could have had weird names.
But that's what I was saying. Is that a big deal? Because he made that reference from about Obama. And he's a person of color.
I don't like
with
it.
a weird name. You still being consistent, saying even Chris Christie, even though I don't like Ramaswamy or not really concerned with him, you still shouldn't have said that racist comment.
All right, so let's go. A few other things. Back to the abortion thing. I did like how Nikki Haley said, "Don't demonize women." It's like Republicans get into this whole thing, or not Republicans, pro-lifers, because pro-lifers on both sides.
That's true.
Get into this thing of demonizing women who have abortions. You're not going to win over people like that. It's supposed to be compassion. If you don't agree with somebody having an abortion, you're supposed to have compassion. Mm-hmm. You don't demonize somebody and make them, oh, you just a murderer. Oh, you this, oh, you that.
You brought up,
make it more humanistic, more humanizing it.
You brought up a good point, and I never think about it because there's so many situations where the abortion law is used to cover the woman and the health of the child.
They made a comment,
and the health of the woman.
They made a comment about late-term abortions.
Yes.
You do understand that it's not late-term abortion or somebody walking in and saying, I don't want to have my child.
Right, take it.
Y'all act like somebody can walk in at 9 months and be like, oh, I don't want to be pregnant no more, so I want to have an abortion. Mm-hmm. That's not the case. Mm-hmm. It's the life of the mom or the child. There's women that have children.
Away in the womb.
There's women who have stillborns. There's women who have children who all their organs is on the outside of their body.
Lord Jesus.
Outside their body.
Yes.
There's women that have babies that are being born or in the 9th month who have the heart is gone or the lungs, the kidneys are totally dissolved and not there. You can have the baby, it'll be born, but it will die immediately.
Exactly. So
rather than traumatize the mom and the child, they may inject or something and put the child out of its misery.
Right.
So it's not a one blanket thing,
right.
Which is one of the reasons why I like Nikki Haley. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
What reason
do a blanket statement over every single situation?
Yes. But what are you trying to have this for? Let's talk about it and let's put some laws in order to protect that. But I agree with her. You're not going to walk in at 8 and 9 months and say, I don't want a baby. Exactly. And then they going to cut it out.
Right.
No, I don't believe it. I don't agree with that either.
But you know what is happening aside from that? And we've recently had it happen in our community, not in our community, well, maybe in our community because it was near Chicago. 2 women in the last 6 months gave birth to a baby. One was in the garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And one was left somewhere. I don't know where. You know they can go to the fire department. They can go anywhere and leave the child. Garbage, baby breathing, kicking.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, who's to say I'm not going to abort? I'm not going to abort. I'm going to have it. And I'm just going to get rid of it once I have it.
Exactly.
So you are dealing with a lot of issues.
So you got to talk about that. Yes. And I agree with them. You need to talk about adoption.
Yeah.
You need to talk about other things. Don't just push. You want to sit and say pro-life. And then once the person has the child, you're done. You just have a sign up that says pro-life. And then once the child is born, are you going to follow that mom throughout their life? Mm-hmm. Are you going to make sure that everything is good, or that the mom is working and there's mental health issues addressed, or she's able to send it to an adoption agency? And they not just sitting there in an adoption agency with 500 kids.
And a lot of people are going out of the country to adopt because of the rules that we have.
So look at all of it. Yeah. So that part, I agree with her. Again, I thought she made the most sense on the stage.
Yeah, she did.
What's his name? The second one in a row. The one that's second, Florida. DeSantis sound like a robot.
He is.
I'm gonna send Joe Biden back to the basement.
That man.
I'm gonna send Joe Biden back to the basement.
And always, I'm thinking, you guys, you can sit here and think about it. All the debates that we can think of. Has there ever been a debate where the host, the people asking the questions, has had full control over the people on the stage,
exactly,
people in the audience? Because these two people sure didn't, because they would talk over each other. Pence would do a lot of holler outs. The lady said, hold on, Vice President Pence. We haven't heard from so-and-so.
Exactly.
Hold on, Ramaswamy. You've already made a comment. We need him to, they had to do, they was like this at an airport. And then they had to turn around because the audience was booing so long.
Yeah.
That Christie couldn't finish his comment.
Anything that you said that was negative against Trump, you got booed.
And they turned around and said, if you continue this, we're not going to get through this debate. So he pretty much was scolding the audience, shut up.
And Pence, he pretty much says the same thing Trump said, but he says that we did it. Trump says he did it, and Pence said we did it. We are the ones that got more troops to come to the Mexican border.
There we go.
We are the ones who did close whatever the COVID thing. So he's we, and Trump is me.
That's so that narcissist.
And the thing that helped Pence is that Trump wasn't there. Because if Trump was there, he would say, Mike, you wasn't even in the room when I told that man to go get more troops.
You would have shot him down.
You was at home with mother.
Be glad that the elephant that was in the room was not in the room.
Right. So I thought that was funny. All of them went after Ramaswamy with now is not the time for on-the-job training.
Exactly.
You're too young. You're too inexperienced. Exactly. You don't know anything. And Ramaswamy's kickback was, that's the problem. Which in a way he's right.
New generation.
All we have is you guys who are seasoned politicians, and look what shape the country's in. Maybe you need some new blood in there and someone to get in there and kick up the thing.
That's true.
But my thing is, I'm not looking for you to be that one to come in and kick up the thing.
He had some good points here and there. They all had some in some ways. Who had the majority were saying was Nikki, in our opinion. And we knew where Chris Christie was coming from. His whole purpose being on that stage was to say, hey, you guys, come on. We can't keep supporting Trump. What's wrong with y'all?
Chris Christie he was very clear, even though he was robotic. What I did in Florida, I want to do national.
No, you mean DeSantis.
I mean DeSantis. What I did in Florida, I want to do across the country. And that's why you won't win.
Yeah.
Because no one wants you banning books across the country.
Yeah.
No one wants your national ban on abortion, which he never quite said it would.
8 weeks or 6 weeks?
6 weeks. No one wants you. He even made a point to say he fired the attorney generals and the district attorneys that didn't follow, that did kind of what they wanted and not follow the law the way he thinks they should.
He did that.
And he said he'll do it all the way across the board. So you're not going to win.
He's too extreme.
You're too extreme.
He's too extreme.
And general election, you won't win. You won't win. In my opinion, the best person is Nikki Haley. The second one would be Ramaswamy.
Yep.
Because Ramaswamy is going to pull that mega crowd with him, and he's going to get the young people to vote for him. Because they don't like any of y'all. They're going to vote just to get y'all out of here and put him in office.
Now, I told my sister, I said, one problem he may have, and if he overcomes it, our country, and we all know this, the history of racism is still in this country.
He's too dark.
There's still racist people that see him as a man of color and probably wouldn't vote for him.
Yes.
Even if it would literally probably have to take Trump endorsing him. But he's running against
Trump will endorse him because last night he raised his hand and said he would pardon Trump.
Okay. So he's going to be
by him friend. Doing that, by him raising his hand and saying, if I'm elected, I will pardon Trump. There is no way in the world Trump will not endorse him.
Thank you.
If he can't run, if that 14th Amendment thing comes up and Trump is out, he is going to put all his backing behind Ramaswamy, and just like he did Wolfman Herschel Walker. And there was a lot of people in Georgia who probably don't even like black people who fixed their hand to vote for Herschel Walker because Trump told them to.
Because Trump told them.
These people will follow him off a mountain in a cliff.
Yes.
So if he said, I know he's goofy, I know he's dark, I know he has a weird name, I know he reminds you of Obama, but the man, for God's sake, said he would pardon me. I need that. I need somebody to pardon me and get me away from Fannie Wilson.
My friend.
Yes. Valencia Brooks said, yes, I thought it was racist comparing him to Obama. Thank you. When Chris Christie did that.
Yeah.
So it has a weird name. That was the racist part.
And they've always said that. So we knew that was coming because Ramaswamy has a different name.
On the flip side, if I watched some of the stuff from Trump, he said Chris Christie needs to stay off the beach.
You know what?
This was the dumbest interview in the world of interviews.
He's always cracking on his weight. That's all he got. What else can he crack on?
Well, he cracked on his weight. And he was like, he even said himself, like, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not a model, but for goodness sakes, stay off the beach in shorts.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That's all you got to say, comb over.
He talks about Chris Christie all the time.
So we're going to see how this flows because they have another debate in September.
Yeah, we'll see how that.
Let's see
who falls out. Definitely that guy the two guys on the end, and the other guy needs to fall out.
Yeah. Maybe Tim Scott
needs to get out of here, but he's raising money so he can run for governor, or what is he? Senator? What is he? Senator.
I think
he's raising money for that. He's going to use that money for him to run for senator. He knows he don't have a chance in HE2 picks to win for president.
Sometimes they just want to get their name out there.
Sometimes it's to keep your name, keep your face out there,
and to be hopefully invited in his
whatever
administration,
in his cabinet. All right. Well, let's go on.